Ladies and gentlemen, this is Janelle Grant, and you're probably wondering, why am I going to be talking about Janelle Grant? Well, as of Friday, Janelle Grant has made a public appearance ever since suing Vince McMahon and WWE, and she did not hold anything back. And this article I'm going to show you is everything you need to know on what happened. As we begin, this article was posted by postwrestling.com. In her first public appearance, Janelle Grant spoke about the past years of her life and the restrictions she has faced from a non-disclosure agreement with Vince McMahon. Grant alleged in her January 2024 lawsuit that she was sexually assaulted and sex trafficked by McMahon during her employment with WWE. McMahon has denied the allegations. The former WWE paralegal appeared on a Thursday at a briefing for the Connecticut Alliance to End Sexual Violence, amongst other survivors, advocates, and legislators. There are people living and working in fear here in Connecticut, Grant said in her 16-minute address, in which she contended that despite Vince McMahon's exit from the company, workers at WWE Stamford offices remain fearful. There is a headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut, right now that is full of imitated people that I care very much about. Grant opened stating, "By a series of miracles that I can't account for, I'm alive today," proceeding to describe her life since the Wall Street Journal's first report in June 2022. "I got a call that I didn't expect on the day of the very big meeting of a new job I had. And it was in front of my new bosses, and it was in front of a high-rise full of residents whose homes I was entrusted to protect. So imagine me getting a phone call I didn't expect, saying that any minute the Wall Street Journal would be publishing a story about me, Vince McMahon, and a non-disclosure agreement. I was told if anybody asked me about this, I can't make a comment, I can't acknowledge it, I can't say that I'm not okay if anybody approaches me, I can't acknowledge years of life to people who saw me live it." And it was like somebody set fire to my home intentionally with me still inside of it. So I blacked out, and I ended up in a closet with a belt and stool placed under a little rod. And thank God somebody saw me and stopped it. The Journal's Joe Palazzolo and Ted Mann reported that McMahon made a secret settlement agreement revealed to be worth $3 million with a former employee without naming Grant. This agreement was brought to the attention to WWE's board of directors in March that year, and the board launched an investigation. Grant stated, "When an NDA is used to conceal dangerous behavior, it simply relocates the harm to the next employee, the next office, the next victim." She spoke about isolating herself from society as a result of this, noting she went outside 10 times last year to emphasize the threat and power she felt that she was on the other side of. Grant said she is deeply struggling, financially devastated, and has no family, but thanked everyone for listening to her. She described experiencing coercive control, a concept her legal counsel has also asserted in her civil lawsuit against McMahon and WWE. She alleges that she was subjected to such control and that the concept helped her understand her experiences. "This NDA was a tool that Vince could use to justify anything while I remained in a system of exploitation and actually in a position for anyone to exploit me." Grant specifically noted that WWE reached out to her after the first reporting by the Journal to participate in a joint statement that would label the relationship with McMahon as consensual and implied that they were willing to offer something in exchange, which Grant interpreted as money. Grant said she refused to put out on a joint statement and that the company went ahead and called in a consensual relationship without her consent, which was public in a follow-up report by the Wall Street Journal. Separate representatives from WWE and McMahon did not respond to a request from Post Wrestling to comment on the accuracy on that assertion by Grant. In its second installment on the scandal that uncovered 4 multi-million-dollar NDAs with women formerly employed by WWE, the Journal reported in July of 2022. "The company is cooperating with the board inquiry," a WWE spokesman said. "Mr. McMahon's relationship with the former paralegal was consensual." The spokesman said, adding that the company is taking the allegations seriously. Grant said that she spent six figures to participate in WWE's investigation with legal retainers and medical care that saved my life. I believe that somehow I would be interviewed for this investigation and get my life back and figured out what happened. Then the feds reached out online speaking with me. So while our hair was on fire getting everyone on boarded, we gave them my evidence and said, renew this in advance. The feds informed that this was now a covered investigation into human trafficking and the criminal misconduct of WWE, Vince McMahon, and this NDA. And if you want to know why this case, my federal civil lawsuit is not an employment law case. That is because the feds requested that I say nothing. That this could be covert, that they could do the work that they needed to do to investigate human trafficking and criminal misconduct. Federal authorities have not publicly discussed the investigation or confirmed whether trafficking or other alleged misconduct by McMahon was being investigated. Criminal charges were not brought against him though. He was required to repay WWE $1.3 million and submit to a $400,000 penalty to the Securities and Exchange Commission stemming from the previously undisclosed settlement payments that covered both McMahon and the companies as parties. Grant filed her lawsuit in January 2024 and described it as a choice she was hesitant to make because of what it would mean for her life. So I don't know how many more red flags you need, but going into 2024, when I filed my federal civil lawsuit, and the last conceivable second, because I really didn't want to do this. I knew that I would be about to throw my life into, but I had been dragged in by this NDA into a federal investigation, the SEC and all the consequences, all the things that have happened that made my life so small and isolated. I didn't start that. Grant also criticized a storyline on WWE programming in the summer of 2024, saying reporters and viewers noticed that there were parallels between a storyline that unfolded for several months on television and my situation. She did not mention which storyline, but parallels between Grant's case and the Liv Morgan story with Dominic Mysterio were not lost on viewers, specifically a scene where Dominic receives a text from Morgan, which then he shows to the other male members of the Judgment Day, whose reactions imply it contained nude photos. And yeah, that scene actually was pretty wild. The Connecticut Alliance to End Sexual Violence is pushing for stronger protections for incarcerated survivors and further transparency and accountability. They are pushing for changes in the state NDA laws that they believe silence survivors. Post Wrestling has contacted representatives of McMahon, WWE, and Grant for comment, and we will update this report with any comments or clarifications they provide. And as of this recording, there have been no updates about this situation. And if there is any updates, I'll probably go ahead and post my thoughts on it on social media, or maybe make a video about it. I don't know. But what are my thoughts on Janelle Grant finally speaking to the public? I am fully supporting Janelle Grant. Vince McMahon is one evil SOB. And when I saw somebody post the full speech from Janelle Grant, I was looking at the comments and I've seen a lot of people defending Vince McMahon. Bro, do you not realize what this madman has done to this innocent person? And Vince is not the only one. Brock Lesnar, who is allegedly a part of this, has made Janelle Grant's life a living hell. Oh yeah, and speaking of Brock Lesnar, WWE, while Janelle Grant was doing her speech, WWE posted that Brock Lesnar was coming to Monday Night Raw this Monday night on Netflix. Don't you think that WWE wants you to forget about Janelle Grant? Probably. That's probably their plan. So if you guys have enough time to watch the entire speech from Janelle Grant, go ahead and do so. And for those people who think that Janelle Grant is lying on everything, get out of here, dude. You don't even belong in this conversation. Justice for Janelle Grant and screw Vince McMahon. But what about you guys? Do you have any thoughts on this Janelle Grant speech? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, tap the notification bell for more videos. Follow me on Twitter @ItTheSoyShow, and I'll see you in the next one.